And we're live. Hello, everyone. Great to see you all here. Art Blade, I see your name popped up. Ken Bear, good to see you. Been a pretty busy week here. Absolutely beautiful weather in northern New York. I think we've hit the 70s every day this week, which is pretty crazy. Holden Ross is here. Good to see you, Holden. Glad you could make it. Darwin Dominguez, hello. Greetings. Hope everyone's well. Yep, all good here. David Knight, hey, how you doing? I'm good. Glad you could make it. Thanks for stopping. Marcus Samoas, yo, good to see you, Marcus. Glad you could stop. MPK is here. Very good. Nice to see all the familiar faces popping up. Glad you guys can make it. Ken Bear says hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. So we had a wicked windstorm here the other day, and you'll never guess what happened. It must have got, I don't know even how, but it must have got behind the screen in my laundry room, and it popped it out. I go out this morning to rake the yard, and there's a window screen sitting on the floor. So I had to pop that back in, which was kind of a pain. Gabriel Badwolf is here. Good to see you, Gabriel. RYAG says hello and asks if Conryu is descended from a demon lord. No, he's not. He's completely human. Rodney Bradshaw's here. Hello. Thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Chipone gives me a smiley face. Hello. Glad you could make it. Artblade says 25th stream. Companies celebrate their 25th whatever, so could we. Party. Yeah. I'm not sure if 25 streams is enough to justify a party, but hopefully we'll have a nice time this afternoon. And I don't know if it qualify as a party, but anyway, it sort of is, I guess, hanging out with familiar friends. Gabriel says Lucifer might beg to differ with that. Oh, that he's just strictly human? Well, he's an extraordinary human and occasionally fills in for a demon lord, but they're not related. Canton Bear says, this is my first one. Just discovered the stories. Well, I'm glad you can make it. It's always great to see a new face, and I hope you're enjoying the stories. So that's very good. Thank you. Speaking of which, I am almost done with the rough draft of the third book in the trilogy I've been working on. The one set in Coltsland. I've only got about maybe another week. It should be done this week, so... MPK says it's weird that Null is a demon lord since he seems so reasonable. Reasonable is a relative thing where demon lords are concerned, but he's one of the more honorable ones compared to some. Holden Ross says, I'm listening to the Aegis of Merlin right now, and I can't help but think how much it should be a game, kind of like Code Vein, probably. Long, Souls-like, with cutscenes that explain the story well. Yeah, that would be cool, but I have no idea how to make a game, so... I'm hopefully you're enjoying the Aegis of Merlin. That's been a fun series to work on. The 12th book in that series is actually I got it edited and it's waiting my attention to go through the fixes. So Artblade says we can celebrate Ken Bear discovering my book. So yeah, I think that's probably more worthy of celebration than an arbitrary number of streams, but. Let's see. David Knight says, lucky you, Ken Bear. Miss that feeling of just discovering all these great stories? Holden Ross says, I would teach myself to make games just to turn this series into a game with you, and then maybe use your brain for more game ideas. And he says, yes, I'm absolutely loving it. Better than Harry Potter. Well, that's certainly a high praise. I appreciate that. Oh, Big Pete's here. Hey, Pete, glad you could make it. We missed you last time, so great to have you on board. Hope everybody had a nice Easter. I ended up going to my uncle's for dinner, and it was very good. He has a smoker, and he made ham, pork loin, and prime rib in his smoker, and it was all delicious. So that was quite a good treat. Gabriel Battle says, editing the nightmare when people show you didn't write what you thought you did and you didn't notice because you were reading it in your head instead of with your eyes. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of editing, but it definitely needs to be done. And I've got a really good editor, so she catches a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's very easy to do that when you read it so many times. You start to just see what's in your head rather than what's actually on the paper. That's why having a professional editor to read your stuff over if you want to publish it is super important. Big Pete says, cheers. What are we discussing? I was just talking about what I had for Easter dinner. I don't know which traditional where you guys are. I know some of you are in America, so I'm assuming you guys had ham, but RYAG says your output puts Martin to shame. Yeah, he doesn't write a lot, but man, he has had so much success based on, I don't even know, what's he written, like 6 books, or that's more than that, but 6 Game of Thrones books. I don't know that I wouldn't trade, the success he has had with those books for, my quantity, but you don't really get to decide that sort of thing. I've given up on his stuff. I'm not starting anything until it's finished from him anymore. Big Pete says roast lamb with all the trimmings. That sounds good. I've never actually had. I've never had lamb. I've had a lot of different kinds of meat, but I can't say I've ever had lamb. Marcus Mo says, "Okay, Brazil, we barbecue." Yes, I know you guys are pretty famous for your barbecue, so that's very cool. Holden Ross says, my family is more of a Christmas and Thanksgiving kind of family. Easter isn't big for us. Yeah, we don't like celebrate, but it's a good excuse for the family to get together and have a meal and talk and just connect. It's not really like a celebration thing, just a get together thing. PK says, the more I read the Soulbound Saga, the more convinced I become that Otto is Joran. No, definitely not. Joran's much more even-tempered and weaker. Gabriel Battle says we normally would have lamb in Ireland for Easter. Oh, must be a Ireland UK thing to have lamb for Easter. I have to try it someday. I assume you just cook it like any other kind of meat, roasted maybe, like Pete said, or I don't know. I'll have to look up a recipe. MPK says I had pizza for Thanksgiving. That ain't bad. It was a turkey pizza? I don't even know. That sounds gross just saying it out loud. Gabriel Battle says Easter isn't big for us either, with a shrug. Yeah. Speaking of Easter, I like that picture you posted in the Discord of the dogs with the Easter bunny ears. That was a cute picture. Voidwalker, this question might have been asked a lot, but are you working on anything new? Yeah, I'm right at the end of a new trilogy set in Colts Land, about 10 years after the events of the Chamber of Eternity. So that's my current project. And like I said, the 12th book in the Aegis of Merlin series is in the editing phase, and that'll be out late summer. That'll be the next book I put out, and well, not counting the ones that are just coming out now. And then when I finish that, my next book is going to be the 5th book in the Rogue Star series, science fiction series. So that should be fun. Holden Ross says, if anything, I bet you gave one of your stories to From Software. They could probably do something amazing with it. Maybe. I never even heard of them. So Big Pete says there are a lot of sheep here in Wales, so lamb is often on the menu. I see. I wonder if it's a big thing in New Zealand too. I heard there's supposed to be a lot of sheep in New Zealand, but let's see. Gabriel says slow roasted lamb, normally with rosemary and mint sauce. And Big Pete concurs that that's the way to go. Very good. I'll keep that in mind if I ever have lamb. Holden Ross says, when will the trilogy be released in Audible YouTube? A while, because I don't even have covers for them yet. And I haven't gone through my self-editing, and they still need to go to the regular editor. It may be my big project for the first part of next year, like January, February, March. But that's what I'm leaning towards. I may get the new Rogue Star series, the 5th book of that up before I do the trilogy, because it'll be just one book and shorter. So let's see. Andre White says, I'm a little upset that you put glass on the floor of the dragon ships in Soulbound. Obviously, you are not afraid of heights. On another note, are the portal rooms the same in Soulbound and Portal War Saga? I am absolutely terrified of heights, so that is definitely not. But I figured they needed some way to look down, so that's why there are viewing windows. And yeah, the portal rooms are the same in Soulbound and the Portal War Saga. RY says, is Rogue Star in the same universe? It is. And the 5th book is where we'll see how they tie together. But if you think of the name of the main villains from the Rogue Star series, you'll see how it ties together. Holden Ross says, From Software is the company that made Dark Souls and Elden Ring. Oh, well, that's... I've definitely heard of both of those games, so that would be very cool if they did something with some of my stuff, but we'll see. Ken Bear says, is Otto coming back? He may be coming back. I don't know. I don't want to make promises until I've actually written the book, but I've got an idea, and I'm kind of setting it up at the new trilogy, so we'll see. I'm leaning towards it. Big Pete says, I lived in New Zealand for a year, and the venison is very nice there. Oh, very cool. Gabriel Badwell says it was a link to a YouTube video. He has an Easter egg hunt with his dogs every year. There's treats inside the eggs for them to sniff out. Oh, that's kind of a cool thing to do. Although, if I wasn't mistaken, that dog looked very grumpy. Let's see. Holden Ross says, where's the best place to find editors? My fiance is almost done with her series and needs an editor and a good publishing company. If she's looking for an editor, I believe my editor is actually looking for new people, or she was. So if you want to contact me, email me. I'll give you her contact information, and you can see if she's interested. Her prices are pretty reasonable. As for a publishing company, I would recommend that you self-publish if at all possible, because publishing companies tend to be very grabby when it comes to rights, especially for a beginning author. So I I would recommend not doing that personally, but Big Pete says, "Woohoo! Ottawa's coming back." You said it now. That's all we needed. LOL. I said I was pretty sure he was. Don't. I'm leaning towards it. That's not the same thing as 100%, but I definitely do have an idea for book 8. So David Knight says, "It's been a while, but do you still have hardcovers available on your website?" I have all my books that are available in hardcover are now up on Etsy. I started an Etsy store, so if anybody wanted it, I could, just sell them that way rather than doing directs, sending invoices and stuff. But if you're interested, I added the links to Portal Wars and Soulbound Saga. So if you're looking for them, the links to the hardcover and the softcover, depending what you want, are right underneath the videos. So I added them to the description. So whichever one you want, you can just pop in and find the link. So it should be super easy. Big Boss says hi. Good to see you, Big Boss. Glad you can make it. Holden Ross says, okay, thank you. Yeah. Once you contact me, I will email her and make sure she's still open. And if she is, I'll forward you her contact information. So hopefully that works out for you both. David Knight says, LOL. I love your Rogue Star Space Opera series. Oh, thank you. It's a fun series. I wish it sold better, but I do enjoy it. Ken Bear says maybe it's all I needed on a new Portal War Saga book. Let's see. Gabriel Badwolf says, ever since Harry Potter, publishing companies have been very, very careful with their contracts. Yes. They want everything. They want ebook, audiobook, print, movie, TV, you name it. If they can get it, they want it. And if you won't give it to them, they just won't publish it. So I definitely recommend going the indie route. Chippewan says, where can I find the Aegis of Merlin on audio? I don't see it on the channel. Yeah, it's not available on YouTube yet. I licensed the rights to Tantor Audiobook Publishing. They start reverting next year, and as soon as I get them back, I'll be posting them. But for now, you have to get them on Audible until I get, like I said, until I get the rights back. But yeah. Gabriel Badwell says, I like stories that mix both sci-fi and fantasy together. Yeah, I do too. I've actually got an idea for a big science fantasy series. It's just a question of getting to it. I've got so many ideas. But yeah, I do have an idea for that. Holden Ross says, why the big shift in magic systems from the Aegis of Merlin to the threads they use in Portal Wars? Or is there not a big difference? And I just haven't seen the similarities yet. I actually came up with the Aegis of Merlin magic system before the Portal Wars. Some worlds are very similar, and some worlds are completely different. The Aegis of Merlin uses like elemental portal magic, and Soulbound Saga and Portal Wars use threads, and Soul Force Saga has Soul Force, and it's all through the ether, just different ways of wielding it depending on how it developed on any given world. So that's the in-world explanation, but the truth is I just get bored with doing it one way, so I change it to do something else. Um, making up new worlds and new magic systems is part of the fun of writing fantasy. So that's why. I don't even really explain the magic in Dragonspire Chronicles. I'm pretty sure I just called it magic. So it's all pretty much the same thing, just different tributaries to the same lake. So yeah, definitely this week I'm hoping to get the trilogy finished. Then I'll move on to something else. David Knight says it's great to have enough imagination to have different aspects like that. Yeah, I like making up new magic and new worlds. It's almost like I love to write, but that's the part of it I most enjoy. So PK says, do you play games? Not really. Sometimes if I'm just looking to relax, I'll play like those match 3 games, or I forget the name of it, but it's almost like a faster paced Space Invaders where you got to blast all the alien ships coming down, but I can't think of the name of it. But I don't play like PlayStation or Xbox games. Not in a long time. RY says, is there a world where all humans came from? No. That when the creator forged the universe, he scattered humans all over the universe, so they're everywhere. About 60. I figure in my head, I imagine that about 60% of the universe's population is human. Another, say, 25% is, near human, and the rest are monsters and other odds and ends. So yeah, they were just scattered by the creator of the universe. Holden Ross says, I understand. I just love how fleshed out it is. Really encompasses what would happen if the modern real world, if magic was real. They'd study it till they have an almost complete grasp of it. Yeah. Gabriel says, from what I gather, ether is chaotic, and because it's chaotic, it changes how it works from place to place. Yeah, exactly right. That's just how it is. MPK says, have you read the Witcher books? I've read 2 of the Witcher books. I had a hard time getting into the second one, and I haven't read any more. Chipper1 says, I think I remember you saying it benefits you more on your channel than other outlets. If that's the case, I'll wait until you get the rights back. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It does. But if you don't want to wait, that's cool too. I do appreciate the support on YouTube, though. Audible really doesn't pay all that fantastically well. So MPK says, isn't the universe infinite? It sort of is. At least the real universe is. My fantasy universe is limited by my imagination, I suppose, rather than some sort of reality. Voidwalker asks, where do you find your inspiration? Everywhere. Other books, history. History is a great place. If you're looking to get fantasy ideas, especially, I recommend listening to history shows on YouTube. I get tons of ideas from history shows. I watch shows about the Crusades, and I just finished one about Far East pirates. That was really good. Gave me a bunch of ideas. I watched one on ancient Rome, which is how I got some of the ideas for the Soulbound saga. Anime, anime gives me a lot of inspiration. Basically, everything you see or do or listen to will inspire fire up your imagination. David Knight says Audible can be costly. Got all the Wheel of Time books from there. Having narration brought to that series really changed it for me, but so costly. Yeah, that's the worst part of Audible is they are very expensive, and they only pay the author a tiny fraction of what they bring in, and it's very annoying. But they're the biggest place, so you got to do what you got to do to find customers. Chippewan says, my wife wants me to ask you, who was your favorite female character that you have created? Oh, that's tough. Let's see. Probably Jennifer St. Cloud from the Soul Force saga. I think she's a pretty cool character. And I always have a soft spot in my heart for Lady White because she was based off of one of my favorite comic book characters, Lady Death. So I'd say those two are probably my favorite. Ken Bear says, which anime? Let's see. I don't know if you've read or seen Blade Dance of the Elementalars, but that was a big inspiration for the Aegis of Merlin series. In the anime, there's only one guy who can contract with spirits, and it's otherwise all women. So that's what inspired Conryo to be the only male wizard. So, what else? Trying to think any specific ones that inspired something I've already done. I guess I can't really think of anything right off the top of my head. Oh, Sci-Fi Nerd 1911's here. Good to see you. Glad you could stop by. Gabriel says, I have trouble following along with the books for The Witcher because it's non-linear without much indication of that. I actually like the first 2 seasons of The Witcher on Netflix. I really enjoyed the first season of The Witcher, but I found the second season kind of boring. I think I made it 3 episodes in, and that was as far as I could go. I had to quit. MPK says, fun fact, when a person is thinking creatively, they are using the part of their brains that retains memories and mixing them up a bit to make something different. Nothing new under the sun. Yeah, that's very true. It's not so much coming up with new ideas as your take on old ideas, really. But yeah. I didn't actually know that, though, about the part of the brain they were using. Sci-Fi Nerd 1911 says, have I missed it already? But do you know when you will have your next book ready to be released? Next book on YouTube or next book just in general? Next book on YouTube. I actually just got the audio back for the second part 2 of my comic book. So I need to get that out to my editor to put it all together so I can release part 2 of the motion comic. That'll probably be the next thing I do. And I've also got the audio, Joe's audio for The Lightning. So I'll probably put that up sometime in the near future. But if you mean my next just regular book, the third book of the Soulbound saga goes live on all the retail stores the 28th. And then the next book that nobody has seen will be book 12 in the Aegis of Merlin. I'll probably do the Kickstarter for that in July. So that's what I'm looking at anyway. RY says, with Mayos possible getting magic and Aegis, I'd love to see a comic relief character trying to be a superhero. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I may do something like that someday. We'll see. Gabriel says it picks up a bit when Jasker comes on to season 2. He's always good for comic relief. Yeah. I just couldn't get into it. And I think the next season is going to be even worse since they got rid of Henry Cavill. So next book for YouTube. Yeah, that'll be the next motion comic, and then the Lightning. A clean version of it with no music and a proper recording. And then, assuming I can get it written and recorded, it'll probably be the 5th book in the Rogue Star series, which is the next book I'm going to write when I finish my current project. So, but I wouldn't count on that until late summer at the earliest. Unfortunately, writing and editing and getting recorded audiobooks takes a long time. But next year, I actually get the Soul Force saga back, I believe. So I'll start posting that when they come. Oh, Big Pete's got to go. Glad you could make it, Pete. See you next Sunday for sure. Yeah, there's always a million things, it seems like. Let's see. Ken Bear says, why didn't Cole and Rain end up together? Because she's a future queen and he's a commoner, and yeah, she kind of ditched him and he felt bad about it and wasn't interested in her that way anymore. That's the main reason. I suppose the fact that he doesn't actually love her has something to do with it. So that would be why, I would say. Gabriel Battlestuff, Soul Force is fun. Yeah, that was a fun series to write. That was my first real fantasy series. So that was a good one. Got a lot of fans when that one came out. So it was pretty cool. Problem with that is, and one of the reasons I don't plan to go back to it, is I made Damien so strong. Coming up with new challenges for him that wouldn't just wreck the whole world is tricky. Holden Ross says, I couldn't come up with any more ideas for my series, so I'm fleshing out the world of a new one. Interesting. I don't really plan out my worlds before I start writing. I sort of get to know them as my characters do. So, but that's definitely a way to go. He says, I'm not going to write a word until I have everything down, from the magic system to what the characters' favorite dinners are. Wow. I couldn't work that way. But, whatever works. Everybody's different, so whatever works for you, that's cool. David Knight says, just order the complete Shannara series all in one hardcover. Do you think you'll ever offer something like that for a completed series? I am. When I do the Rogue Star, the 5th book of the Rogue Star series, I'm planning on doing a hardcover with all 5 books. But it's tricky because you have to find, depending on the length, being able to print it all in one book is tricky. You got to have like really light paper so you can get enough sheets in. So it's hard for an individual author to do. The big publishing companies have more options as far as that goes. David Knight says, awesome. RY says, are the Demon Sword and Red Lady sisters? Red Lady. You mean the Dark Lady from Aegis of Merlin? No, they're from different hells. Lizzie's from Ardent Lily's hell, and the Dark Lady is from the Reaper's hell, so they're not related. Holden Ross says, for some reason, my brain just isn't writing like I used to, so I thought a full outline with all the details fleshed out might help me. Yeah, it might. I find the more details I have down, the more boring the the discovery process of writing is for me. So I can't do all that, pre-writing stuff. I just make it up as I go. Joseph says, any idea when your new book is coming out? I can't wait. Like I was saying earlier, the next book is going to be the motion comic, part 2 of the motion comic. That'll probably be out maybe next month is what I'm aiming for. And then the Lightning probably the month after that or 2 months after that. We'll see. But it's going to be a while. It takes a long time to get audiobooks written and edited and made. So Gabriel Badwell says, for what it's worth, I write to see where the story takes me as well, but I'm mostly playing with other people's stuff. I like to write fanfic for fun. So there's a lot of details to work with already. Yeah, I've never tried fan fiction. But might be fun. I don't think I would do it myself just because you can't copyright and sell it. You have to just give it away for free. I don't think it would cut too much into my time of producing new stuff I could sell. So Rilo Ken says, finally caught alive. I love your work, James. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you could make it. Always great to see a new face and name pop up. So Marcus Smo says, I'm back. Connection is failing. Uh-oh. Hate it when that happens. I've had pretty good luck. Watch me jinx myself. But I've had pretty good luck with my Wi-Fi. So Joseph says, understandable. I await Lightning eagerly. Could you give a brief synopsis of what it's all about? It's a prequel to the Soul Force saga. It follows Damien's father when he's a young man just getting started as a warlord, and one of his first adventures. I recorded it myself and added music and sound effects, chapter by chapter. But this when I post it, it'll be the complete story, clean and done in Joe's voice. Much better audio. So Gabriel says, you either love it or hate it. Writing it's a hobby writer thing more than a pro. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing wrong with being a hobby writer. MPK says, have you ever thought of making a Patreon? I'm actually planning a a subscription service. I would never use Patreon. They are very they think they can tell people who use their service what they can say or what they can write and what they can do. And I would never. I used them briefly, and then I found out how bad they were and dumped it. There's a new service that's supposed to be coming out next month. It's like Patreon, but it's made for writers by writers, and they're very free with what you can do. And I will definitely, as soon as I get access to it, I will be telling you guys about it. And the plan is to give early access to my work, posting chapters as I write, as well as ad-free access to YouTube videos 2 weeks early. So that should be interesting for anyone that's into that sort of thing. Joseph says, "I love writing. It's very cathartic for me." Oh, that's good. I do enjoy. I enjoy it too. I've been writing since I was 18, so 26 years. I am Zim says, "I'm glad I didn't miss it this time." Yep, I'm glad you could make it. Holden Ross says, "My book that I'm fleshing out is influenced by Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, but not completely. It has fire in it, but the only other similarities are the Lovecraftian creatures and an evil church." That sounds interesting. Hopefully it turns out good for you. RY says, "I'd love to see the Lust Demons Hell." I bet you would. I'm not sure I could do that in a PG-13 book, though, so... I am Zim says, "That's great to hear. I can't wait till I hear your next books." Yep. So let me ask you guys, just comment in the chat and let me know. I released the Soulbound Saga, a book every week until all 5 were out because I figured people wouldn't want to wait. But would you guys rather I released it more slowly, like a book a month, so that you would have new stuff for longer, or do you prefer the way I did it with getting them out quickly when they were ready? Because when I release 5 books, those are like 3/4 of all the books I'm going to be releasing for the year. So, it kind of bunches everything up. So I may, if I have a bunch of books, I may stretch it out more next time. So. RY says, "Are you planning on going to any conventions anytime soon?" No, I hate traveling. Maybe like a virtual convention might be fun, but something live where I had to fly or whatever doesn't appeal to me. I'll be honest with you. Gabriel Badwolf says, "I get the impression that a Lust Demons Hell would come R-rated and need a lot of trigger warnings." Yes, it would. Let's see. Arway says, "I like a book a week." Very good. David Knight, "I love when you feed us as quick as possible." Okay. I am Zim says, "That's hard to answer, but I like quickly, but then I finish way too quickly." Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of a catch-22. You can either have to wait one way or you wait another way. So Gabriel says, "Same. I'm a book a week, but I'm also impatient." Yeah, one of the I will say cool things about being a writer is when you write a book and then it's out on Monday, say, just as an example, and on Tuesday you've got 10 emails from people like, "Hey, where's the next one?" That's a very good feeling. It's also a little bit frustrating, but it's a good kind of thing to be frustrated about. Holden Ross says, then don't make a PG-13 book, LOL. I don't know. I'd read almost anything from you. I haven't been let down yet. Well, I appreciate that. Chippewan says, no, I plow through your books like a fat kid in a candy store. And PK says, truthfully, they both have benefits, but I think slower is better, just not Martin level slow. Artblade says, I prefer quickly, but in the end, it's your choice, and I will follow anyway. Holden Ross says, a book a week is good. I'm going to start listening to all your books on Audible. Okay, very good. RY says, because of Martin, I don't start a series unless it's finished. Yes, same here. Of course, the tricky thing about that is, especially for me, I might think a series is finished, and then a year later, I might get a new idea and write another book in it. Like the Portal Wars, or not Portal Wars, the Aegis of Merlin. I write a new book in that every year, and I don't know if it'll ever actually be finished. So, Gabriel Badwolf, I'm pretty sure George R.R. Martin will be dead before it's finished. I'm afraid you're right, and I think if it is, I wonder if they'll hire Brandon Sanderson to finish it up like they did for Wheel of Time. Holden Ross says, you ever thought of just doing a horror or a fantasy horror? I actually have an idea for a fantasy horror. But it's sort of a, I don't know, like a historical fantasy with horror elements. I don't know if I'll ever get to it, but I do have an idea for one. I am Zim. I pre-ordered your Overmage book on Apple Books before you posted it. It's telling me it'll be out 6/30/23. Yeah, I'm dropping them on the retailers one a month. So. Andre White says every month is fast enough. It lasts long. David Knight says you can tell the difference in writing when that happened with Wheel of Time. Yeah, it's pretty unavoidable. Even if you try to mimic someone's voices, your own will always come through a little bit, I think. Being able to really copy another writer's tone is a very tricky thing. I don't believe I could do it. I think I have a very personal style that would be hard to cut out if I was trying to finish something like that. So I don't believe I would even try. RY says, Aegis works great as self-contained stories with instant travel in each country being very different. There are a lot of places you can take Conrail. Yeah, that's the plan. I'm pretty excited about the new book coming out. Let's see. Gabriel Badwolf says the rate AI is going, they probably ghostwrite it with one. I got my doubts about that anytime soon. I've messed around a little bit with some AI programs, and they're definitely not ready for prime time as far as actually producing a book with one. They do have their uses though. I messed around with it for the Aegis of Merlin book just to get a few details. The first chapter is set in the Cascade Forest near Washington, or in Washington State. And instead of Googling it, I typed in, what the setting was and asked it to give me details. And then I read that and then synthesized it into my own words through the viewpoint of the character seeing it. So that was kind of a cool way to use it, I thought. Chip One says, I actually enjoyed the books Brandon Sanders finished better. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Brandon did a really great job, and it very much I think, at least in my opinion, kind of gave his career a huge boost. Getting out in front of so many, fantasy fans. I think it really gave him a pretty big boost when he did that. I mean, he was already a great writer, but he went from great to super great. And yes, super great is totally a level of writer. So I would say Brandon is definitely top of the fantasy heap right now. He's the biggest. Him and George are the biggest ones for sure. They're basically when I on those occasions when I actually run Facebook ads, those two are two of my better targets. So Holden Ross says, all this talk of finishing series makes me want to go back and finish the Sword of Truth series. Yeah. I don't know. That's since the author died, I don't know if they'll ever finish that or not. Game user says, I'm just glad they were finished. Yeah, I mean, I am glad that they did come to an end. Gabriel says Terry Pratchett's Discworld books were finished up by his daughter. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. RY says, I'd love to see Conryo team up with different cliches like British spies, an army movie, or maybe a fighting tournament. If you, I don't want to give away too much, but there's a fighting tournament in the new book, so hopefully that'll be something you guys enjoy. Chippewan says, I don't usually give compliments to grown men, but you and Sanderson are my favorites. Well, I appreciate that. Anytime somebody mentions my name in the same sentence as Brandon Sanderson, I consider that a huge compliment. So thank you for that. And just for the record, grown men need compliments too. So I do appreciate that. David Knight says, I'm sure we will enjoy it. Oh, good. I hope so. It was fun to write. Let's see what's next. RY says, will we see Malice in a new form possibly? You very well might, since the title of the new book is Malice. Artblade says, smiley face on grown men needing compliments. I am Zim. What's the name of your new book? By the way, you're my favorite fantasy. Well, thank you. The new Ages of Merlin book is titled Malice. Holden Ross says, my daughter is coming out to be super smart. I wouldn't be surprised if she starts writing herself, and she's only 8. Well, a lot of writers start young. Hopefully she enjoys it. For what it's worth, if she does decide to start writing, I recommend starting on one of the what do they call them, like Wattpad or Royal Road. It's a great way to get your work out there and get quick feedback. So on the other hand, if she doesn't have thick skin, maybe don't do that. You can all no, they're not shy about telling if they don't like it. Let's put it that way. Anyway, I see we're getting on towards the 1 hour mark, so I will be wrapping this up shortly. RY says, when a good person dies, do their soul merge with others to form an angel? No, their soul merges with heaven to make all of the angels just a teensy bit stronger. The same way when an evil person dies, their soul merges with hell to make hell just a little bit stronger. So I think I missed I am Zim's YT's compliment by reading only the first half of his comment. No, I read the whole thing, didn't I? What's the name of your new book? And by the way, you're my favorite fantasy. Yeah, I think I read that. But thank you again for that. So Holden Ross says, okay, have a good day, and think about sending one of your books to From Software if you really want to make one of your books into a game. I suggest Aegis of Merlin or Portal Wars. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, if you are interested, don't forget to email me, and I'll get in touch with my editor to see if she's looking for still looking for new clients. Gabriel said it's like Dumbledore toward Hagrid. If he was waiting for universal approval, he'd be in that hut for a very long time. Man, ain't that the truth? RY says, is it safe to say Hell has a bigger population? They both got pretty big populations, so. Holden says, I'll email you as soon as I'm on board. Okay, very good. All right. Good to see you guys. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next Sunday. Take it easy.